Right, Mike Coppinger has spoken, and what he's saying is Eddie Hearn has signed a 5-year, 9-figure deal with DAZN for exclusive broadcast rights to UK Matchroom boxing shows. That was a mouthful. My name is Rahul Jaychan. This is the Battle Camp. Thank you very much for joining me. First and foremost, I have to say this hasn't formally been announced. DAZN haven't said anything. Eddie Hearn hasn't said anything. Sky Sports haven't said anything for that matter. However, when Mike Coppinger tweets something, or if he puts out an article on the Athletic website, the sources close to the situation that he usually talks about, 9 times out of 10, they are very accurate with the information that they give him. Having said all of that, this isn't really a surprise, is it? The writing's kind of been on the wall for a few months now. So about 6 months ago, 7, 8 months ago, you know, Boxing Social and IFL started asking Eddie Hearn during interviews, oh, you know, your deal expires in June next year. Who are you going to go with? Who are you going to go with? And if he was going to stick with Sky, an announcement about an extension to the existing deal would have been made months ago. You don't just start negotiating. Oh, we've got a couple of months left, so we start negotiating. Like if they were going to extend the deal, that agreement would have been made months ago and an announcement would have come out months ago. We've had an amazing time together since 2015 and we're going to enjoy another 3 amazing years together. And that just hasn't happened. It's been quiet. To add to that, since Eddie Hearn has had his deal with DAZN since I think 2018 for DAZN in America, a lot of British fighters have been fighting in America on DAZN in America. I said in America too many times, didn't I? And then DAZN became available here in the UK at some point last year, I think it was. And those fights then became exclusive to DAZN UK, the app in the UK, and not with Sky Sports, and they were previously shown on Sky Sports. So the momentum started to shift in the direction of DAZN. Now DAZN clearly want to enter into the UK market, and for them, boxing, Eddie Hearn, Matchroom are an ideal partner to start with because they have an existing partnership, and boxing is a sport where fans are used to paying to watch pay-per-view. So it all kind of makes sense for everyone involved. Now, what do I think of the deal itself? Like, look, one thing that's stuck out to me in this article is the fact that AJ, Anthony Joshua, and Dillian Whyte aren't part of this Matchroom and DAZN deal. It doesn't surprise me about AJ because AJ's, you know, a brand in himself, and he's had a long-standing relationship with Sky and Sky Sports pay-per-view, so that doesn't surprise me. And then he said subscribe to me there, but yeah, subscribe to the channel. Dillian Whyte did surprise me a little bit, but then again, Dillian Whyte doesn't have a multi-fight deal with Eddie Hearn, so how can Eddie Hearn guarantee Dillian Whyte to DAZN when he can't guarantee that Dillian Whyte will be having his next fight on an Eddie Hearn card? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, those two guys are going to operate outside of this deal that Eddie Hearn has with DAZN, but I wouldn't be surprised if they just fight exclusively on DAZN moving forward, because from DAZN's point of view, if you're going to invest so heavily in the UK market, like AJ definitely is the big fish for Matchroom, and Dillian Whyte is probably the second biggest fish. And if you're going to capture everyone apart from the 2 biggest fish, it kind of defeats the purpose. So in my opinion, and obviously I might be wrong, I'd imagine that both of them will just be fighting on DAZN moving forward as well. One thing that I will say is Eddie Hearn has been very vocal about his admiration and respect for Dana White and wanting Matchroom Boxing to be the UFC of boxing, right? And we've seen Eddie Hearn be open and honest about the fact that let's say they take a lot of inspiration from the content that UFC produce, and they've started to produce, like, you know, YouTube shows and stuff similar to what the UFC do. And the blueprint for this has already been set by Dana White and the UFC, because they signed an exclusive deal with ESPN, but they also signed an exclusive deal to broadcast all of their pay-per-view events on ESPN Plus, and ESPN Plus is an online platform exactly the same way DAZN is. So he may have taken some comfort. I'm not saying he copied Dana White, but he may have taken some comfort in the fact that Dana White made a very similar move a couple of years ago, and it was a successful move for the UFC. One thing that I will say is they're talking about the fact that DAZN will need to build a whole new broadcast team for UK shows. And if I can give one suggestion, it's they need to make sure the production value of the shows in the UK aren't totally trash the way the American shows are produced. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know whether it's a production company. I don't know whether it's the director. But every show I've seen, every DAZN show I've seen on the DAZN app, like, it's been so poorly produced. So poorly produced. And I can't understand, like, if you're going to invest $1 billion in a product, how are you going to spend all of that money, make such a song and dance about all of the money you're investing in this product, and then not even try hard to make it look $1 million? Do you know what I mean? It just looks like a cheap regional show half the time. The commentary team, I'm not a fan of, man. Like, I like Chris Mannix. I listen to his podcast. I like his journalistic instinct. I like the way he, like, interviews people on his podcast, on the Sports Illustrated podcast. But him as a commentator, it's not for me, man. I don't like the way he commentates. Like, him on the Luke Campbell, Ryan Garcia fight, I felt like putting it on mute. Like, I'm not a fan of that broadcast team. I like Todd Grisham, though, because he was on Raw. He was a commentator on WWE Raw. Like, how can you forget? I remember listening to him, like, I might have been a teenager, I might have been slightly older. I shouldn't have really been watching wrestling past the age of 16 or 17, but I was. And I remember him from there. And I just like the fact that he's transitioned into actual sport, and I'm a fan of his, so I like him. Keep him, but get rid of everyone else. So they have to actually put effort in the production of the shows and the actual team that they pick for the broadcasts, right? So that's one thing that I will say. Another thing that I will say is I just don't know how important in this day and age having a TV channel as a broadcast partner is, because, like, all of the stories, the fighters that I've grown to be interested in over the years, it's all come through Boxing Social and IFL TV. Like, interviews that they've conducted with fighters, trainers, etc., telling their stories, their little feuds and beefs internally with each other, different people in different weight classes not liking each other. All of that information and my interest has come from those outlets, and those outlets are YouTube channels. They're digital. They're in the same space that DAZN are in. So I don't know how important in this day and age having a TV channel backing you is, but then again, I'm not, I wouldn't say I'm a hardcore fan, but I'm definitely not a casual fan. Do you know what I mean? So maybe there is a price to pay on that front. At the moment, I'd say Eddie Hearn doesn't really have a big massive stable of pay-per-view fighters like he once did, maybe about 5, 6, 7 years ago. And maybe this is the right time to make this move, because maybe with the investment that DAZN are giving him, he'll be able to put on shows with good kind of intriguing storylines and fights that will be good for us, fans that are into the sport. Do you know what I mean? On a regular basis. Going back to what I was originally talking about the writing kind of being on the wall. Another thing that made the writing be on the wall, even though that's not the best way of saying it, is the fact that Eddie Hearn over the last few months has been a lot more focused and vocal about subscribing to the Matchroom Boxing channel, about additional content that they're creating. Oh yeah, we're going to copy the UFC. What I've said to the team is, just copy what they're doing. That's a really shit accent. But do you know what I mean? Like, they've been doing it. They've been copying, like, different shows, just taking little bits and pieces of what the UFC do online and doing it for themselves. And that also spout out, all right, well, there's a reason why they're putting all this emphasis on the kind of digital side of things. I think he was talking about a month ago or 2 months ago, something about how they've got a whole new digital department within Matchroom. So yeah, I don't know why I'm talking about this at this point, but I suppose I'm just trying to tell you that they will need to do a lot of work on that front to get the attention of the audience for fights, etc., because they won't have Sky Sports News talking about it every hour on the hour. Do you know what I mean? But interesting times. What are your thoughts? What do you think? Put your comments below. Do you think it's a good move, a bad move, indifferent? Do you care? Are you happy? Are you sad? Please do comment below. If you've liked this video, please do hit the thumbs up button. Hey guys, smash the thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel, share this with a friend, and I'll catch you guys next time. Cheers.